In this video, we are going to cut our webbing, and this is what webbing looks like. And we're going to pin it onto our fanny pack here, like so, okay? So, the first thing I need to do is measure 2 pieces of webbing, and the webbing is what our little clip here will be attached to eventually. The first one I need to cut is going to be 8 inches long. So I'm going to get a ruler out, or you could use a measuring tape, and then we'll zoom in a little bit. You can see my inches are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is where I want to be. So I'm going to line that up at the 8. And with my scissors, I will go ahead and cut my 8 inches. Like that. So I have an 8-inch piece. And this is what is going to be used to attach my, called the receiving end of my little guy here, my little clip here. And so this will be a little loop that I'll sew on later, okay? So I have that one ready. The next one I'm going to do is going to be quite a bit longer, and it is going to be 34 inches, okay? So again, quite a bit longer. I'll put my 8 inches to the side, and for this one, I'm actually just gonna use a measuring tape. I'm gonna make sure I start on the side that has a 1, okay? So I'll find the 1, I'm gonna line the 2 up together, and then I'll just take my other hand, so I'm pinching it with my left hand, or whichever hand you want to pinch it with. With my other hand, I'm just going to hold them together and slide it. And once I reach the end of my arm span, then I'm going to go like this, pinch them together again, and slide it till I get to 34 inches. So you can see right there is my 34 inches. Now I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to be careful not to cut I don't want to cut my measuring tape, my tape measure. So I'm just going to cut that at 34 inches right there with my scissors. And now I have 2 pieces of webbing ready to go. Okay? After cutting those, I'm going to pin them to my bag here. So if I have my bag, this is what it looks like on the outside, right? Nice and pretty. This is what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to be looking at the pretty side, or the wrong side when I pin it. And on the left side, I will pin my 8-inch piece. But before I pin it, I need to find my little clip. And it has 2 parts. I'm going to unclip them, like so. And I'll find the receiving end that looks like this. This is the back side of it. Yours might look a little bit different. This is the pretty side of it. So I'm going to put my 8-inch piece through the loop. I'll match up the 2 ends on the side. It's okay if it's fraying a little bit. And then I'll take the pretty side of my clip and put it to the pretty side of my fabric here. And I'm going to set that aside for a second, because I need to measure 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch, sorry, down on my fabric. So you can use any sort of measuring tool to do this. Since I have a measuring tape here, I'm going to use my measuring tape. And 1/2 inch is right here. Okay, so there's 1 whole inch, and this is half of it. So I'm going to mark halfway down using a marking pencil on both sides. So I mark that on one side, mark it on the other side. Okay, now I go back to my little piece here. I'm going to find the pretty side again, put that to the pretty side of my fabric. When I'm facing my fanny pack, it's on the left side over here. I'm going to line those raw edges up together, and I'll line them up with the edge of my fanny pack. And if it sticks off a little bit on the bottom, see how the corner's kind of sticking off? That is totally fine, no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and pin that in place really good. And then eventually I'm going to reinforce stitch that in place. Okay, on the opposite side, I'm going to take one end of my 34-inch piece, and I will line that up with my 1/2 inch mark. So I'm lining the top of it with that 1/2 inch mark right there. And again, it might stick up a little bit off the bottom. Totally fine, no big deal if it does. I'm going to pin it in place, and I'm good to move on. So just a reminder, I've pinned those both in place. This is my 8-inch piece, this is my 34-inch piece. This one doesn't have a clip attached to it yet, and that's totally fine. We'll do that later.